this episode, the brothers are getting packed up and ready to go back to Canaan. Genesis 44, 1-6. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sack with food as much as they can carry, and put each man's money in the mouth of his sack. Also, put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the sack of the youngest, and his grain money. So they did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as morning dawned, the men were sent away, they and their donkeys. When they had gone out of the city and were not yet far off, Joseph said to his steward, Get up, follow the men, and when you overtake them, say to them, Why have you repaid evil for good? Is not this the one from which my Lord drinks, and with which he indeed practices divination? You've done evil in so doing. So he overtook them, and he spoke to them these same words. Well, Joseph, he's not satisfied yet. He's going to put the ultimate test out there. Are the brothers going to let Benjamin take the blame, or are they going to defend and protect him? This same steward that told them all is well is now going to come out and bring some bad news to them. To the brothers, everything seems to be going great. They've got the food, they got Benjamin, Simeon, they're all together, they're on their way home. But the brothers are putting their trust in the circumstances they're in. No one checked their bags to see if they'd been tampered with. You could say, well, they were tampered with last time you went there. Why don't you check and make sure there's nothing tampered with before you get out of town? Well, they've all put their trust in Joseph, and when things are going good, it's easy to forget to inquire of the Lord. Psalm 118:9 says, It's better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. Well, the brothers, they don't know that they're being framed. They have no idea that trouble's at the door. They have no idea they're going to be returning to Egypt. But this evil that has come upon them is actually meant for good. Genesis 44, 7-13. And they said to him, Why does my Lord say these words? Far be it from us that your servants should do such a thing. Look, we brought back to you from the land of Canaan the money which we found in the mouth of our sacks. How then could we steal silver or gold from your Lord's house? With whomever of your servants it is found, let him die, and we also will be my Lord's slaves. And he said, Now also let it be according to your words. He with whom it is found shall be my slave, and you shall be blameless. Then each man speedily let down his sack to the ground, and each opened his sack. So he searched. He began with the oldest and left off with the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they tore their clothes, and each man loaded his donkey and returned to the city. Well, there's one thing we can see. The years that have gone by after selling Joseph into slavery have changed these brothers. They're trusting each other. They didn't trust each other when they were selling Joseph. There was all kinds of things going on there. But in this situation, if they didn't trust each other, they wouldn't want to know who did such a thing. Their reasoning for their innocence is that they repaid the Pharaoh for the food they received last time. Why would we do this righteous deed only to be a thief? The brothers are so confident that they announce the death of whoever would have that cup and put themselves in slavery. Confidence is a good thing, but misplaced confidence can also bring a lot of disaster. True confidence is when we put our trust in the Lord. 1 John 5:14 says, Now this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And in Proverbs 3:25 and 26 it says, Do not be afraid of sudden terror, nor of trouble from the wicked when it comes. For the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Even though the cup is found with Benjamin, they still needed to look to the Lord for help. In Genesis 44:14-17, it says, So Judah and his brothers came to Joseph's house, and he was still there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said to them, What deed is this that you have done? Did you not know that such a man as I can certainly practice divination? Then Judah said, What shall we say to my Lord? What shall we speak, or how shall we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of your servants. Here we are, my Lord's slaves, both we and he also with whom the cup was found. But he said, Far be it from me that I should do so. The man in whose hand the cup was found, he shall be my slave. And as for you, go in peace to your father. Joseph's brothers completely surrender themselves to Joseph. Here we are, my Lord's slaves. And they're all willing to take the place of Benjamin. And Joseph's dream is now fulfilled without question. In Genesis 37, verse 8, it said, And his brothers said to him, Shall you indeed reign over us, or shall you indeed have dominion over us? So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Now they have a different story. Now they're proclaiming, Here we are, my Lord's slaves. Joseph, he's got it all planned out. He says, No, I'm only going to charge Benjamin. Rest of you just go on home. Joseph only knows what the brothers were like 23 years ago. He's going to find out what they're like now. We have to be careful not to judge a person by what they were. Test them. See what they are now. People change over the years. Some for the worse, some for the better. And Joseph's going to find out what they're like today. Genesis 44:18-34. Then Judah came near to him and said, O my Lord, please let your servant speak a word in my Lord's hearing, and do not let your anger burn against your servant, for you are even like Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servant, saying, Have you a father or a brother? And we said to my Lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, who is young. His brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother's children, and his father loves them. Then you said to your servants, Bring him down to me, that I may set my eyes on him. And we said to my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. But you said to your servants, Unless your youngest brother comes down with you, you shall see my face no more. So it was, when we went up to your servant, my father, that we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, Go back and buy us a little food. But we said, We cannot go down if our youngest brother is with us. Then we will go down, for we may not see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us. Then your servant, my father, said to us, You know that my wife bore me 2 sons, and the one went out from me. And I said, Surely he is torn to pieces, and I have not seen him since. But if you take this one also from me, and calamity befalls him, you shall bring down my gray hair with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to your servant my father, and the lad is not with us, since his life is bound up in the lad's life, it will happen when he sees that the lad is not with us, that he will die. So your servants will bring down the gray hair of your servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For your servant became surety for the lad to my father, saying, If I do not bring him back to you, then I shall bear the blame before my father forever. Now therefore, please let your servant remain instead of the lad as a slave to my Lord. and let the lad go up with his brothers. For how shall I go up to my father if the lad is not with me? Lest perhaps I see the evil that would come upon my father. Even though Jacob had 4 wives, Rachel was the only one that he considered his wife. You know that my wife bore me 2 sons. What's more important here is how much Judah has changed. In Genesis 37:26-27, it says, So Judah said to his brothers, What profit is there if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he's our brother and our flesh. And his brothers listened. Judah's a leader among his brothers. At the time that Joseph was sold into slavery, he was a leader. And he's a leader now. He kept Joseph from death, but he still wanted to get rid of him. Simeon and Levi attacked Shechem and did it all alone. They weren't leading anything. They were doing it together, destroying the lives of those men in Shechem. Now, back when they sold Joseph into slavery, Judas was jealous of Joseph and the preferential treatment he got from Jacob. Judah was not the murdering kind, but he led the brothers to sell Joseph. Judah has really changed, and now he doesn't want the same problem with Benjamin's life. He wants to preserve Benjamin's life. Judah had some of his own sad life experiences in the meantime. He'd lost 2 sons that were married to Tamar. And Judah didn't give his youngest son, Shelah, to Tamar to be her husband because he was afraid he would die also. And then Judah got deceived into getting Tamar pregnant because of his own misconduct. He blamed Tamar for the death of his sons when it wasn't her fault at all. It was their fault. And tradition was that Tamar couldn't marry another man without Judah's approval. And Judah couldn't approve another man because he'd be saying that he's not going to provide a son for his oldest. So it was pride that kept Judah from setting Tamar free. And it was fear that kept Judah from giving Shelah to Tamar. Well, God's removed Judah's pride and his fear, and now he's courageously negotiating with Joseph on behalf of Benjamin. Judah's still the leader of the brothers as he makes his plea before Joseph. He addressed Joseph as a lord and acknowledged his greatness in the country. Judah, he may still have some unrighteousness to work out. He wasn't able to bring himself to say, well, I sold my brother Joseph into slavery. He wasn't ready to say that, but he was really crying out for Benjamin's life. They've lied to Jacob all these years, and a lot of times you keep telling a lie, you end up believing the lie yourself. But he's impressing upon Joseph that he had to pressure Jacob to bring Benjamin with him. And he's pleading with Joseph to have compassion because it would just kill their father if they don't return with Benjamin. Judah's no longer thinking about himself, but he's thinking about his father and he's thinking about his younger brother. He's developed a compassion for others. And Judah offers himself to serve in Benjamin's place. So it's quite obvious that Judah has a repentant heart, even though he hasn't got to the place where he could confess that he sold Joseph into slavery. He didn't resent Benjamin getting favored treatment. And none of the brothers are going to abandon Benjamin when he was caught with the cup. They all followed back into Egypt. And they all humbled themselves before Joseph. And all of them were concerned about their father over their own needs. And again, Judah was willing to sacrifice himself for his brother. In 1 John 4:7-8, it says, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. He who does not love does not know God, for God is love. We've seen the example of the brothers and the love they had for their father, the love that they had for their youngest brother. Let's show this same love to our brothers and sisters in the Lord, to all those that we come across, that they might see the love of God flowing through us and want to be part of that kingdom of God, the one Jesus died for, the one he raised from the dead for, and the one he's going to be with for all eternity.